Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. You join me on a very hot day here in the UK, but we're going to be unboxing something a little bit special today. Now, this is the ASUS TUF Gaming GeForce RTX 3080. I've been working very closely with scan.co.uk over the last probably 8 or 9 months now. They're a UK retailer that sell everything and anything to do with computers, and they've been very, very supportive of me and the channel over this period. Now, a little bit of an insight into the PR world and reviewing things. Generally speaking, the companies either have one of two ways of that they work. So they either have a few rotation samples that they'll loan out for maybe a couple of weeks, then they'll ask for it back and then it'll be sent to someone else. Or if they send you a product from a budget that you're able to keep hold of, you've generally got a set requirement. They look for either subscribers or views or the amount of traffic you get a month, something like that. Scan jumping in and saving the day really means the world to me, because they've enabled me to get products that I just can't otherwise. So this is one of them. We've also looked at the 5800X. They've also sent over the 5800X 3D as well, which are going to be pairing with this in a couple of builds. So really looking forward to that. But this is the unboxing for this. So I thought we'd do a little unboxing and do a few benchmarks and things. And that's a little bit of content to begin with before we start using it in builds. So waffle over, let's get into the unboxing. So as I mentioned, this is the 10 gig overclocked edition from the factory. The Ampere architecture, let's open this. Is literally, I've not even opened it yet. So some other things we can tell you as we open this. This has got a 8704 CUDA cores. So this would be very helpful if I was using this in a rendering machine, but going to be doing too much with it to keep it in my PC for any period of time. Also, it came in an outer box that was ASUS branded, then another box that was Scan branded, so it was very, very well protected. And as far as I know, everyone will get that if they order a graphics card, so it's going to be very, very safe during shipping. So the core clock is 1440 megahertz, and then you've got a boost clock of 1785 and goes up to 1815 on the OC mode. You have got a little switch, I believe, on there as well to change that. So here we go. Of course, a chonk. Let's put that to the side. Just look under the foam. So little booklet. What's this? Oh, I've got some bits and bobs. Now this actually is ASUS's new logo. I'm not too sure when this will be kind of going on most products, but I have seen it on, I think, one of their laptops. I'm not too sure about the logo, personally. Looks something like out of Star Trek. We've got a warranty card, bit of information, certificate of reliability. All the TUF products come with this if you're not familiar with them. And then we've also got a thank you for purchasing an ASUS graphics card. Download the drivers, blah, blah, blah. I actually thought, because of how stiff this was, that it was a driver disc. So I'm very glad to see that it's not, because we don't need discs in 2022. So a little speed setup guide. If you've installed a graphics card before, you probably won't need that. And look at the beast. So this is going to be my primary workhorse for anything where we need some higher end performance. Another reason that I did like a little pitch to Scan for one of these is that I will have a lot of processors that are like the 5800X or 5800X 3D, and the highest graphics card that I've got on hand is a 3070. So you would pair it with something like a 3080 ideally, in an ideal world. So that will then enable me to get some more realistic world results rather than using a graphics card that not a lot of people would typically pair with it. So that's a big part of being thankful that Scan have kindly sent one out for me to look at. This is an absolute chonk. This is a 2.7 slot card, not 2.5, so it's slightly thicker. It actually looks very thick, like the Noctua editions do. So really, really nice thick cooling on there. There I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heat pipes. So you can see 6 there. There's actually 9, and then there's 3 on this left-hand side. Other things, maximum resolution this supports is up to 7680 by 4320, which is 8K. So should we get an 8K monitor into review, then we shall test the bejeebus out of it using this. You can support up to 4 displays at once as well because of the I/O. So we've got a few pills. I'm just trying to find the edge to actually begin this. Here's one here. Oh, very nice. So now we can see the gun metal a little bit better. We just kind of rotate this around in the light. I'm actually considering seeing if we can wrap this in white as well at some point, just to see, you know, if it's possible. Looking at kind of the way the shroud is, I think it would come off fairly easy to be able to wrap it. So some other things to talk about. We've got the triple fan. So the first and the third will actually go clockwise, and then the middle one will go anti-clockwise, just to help spread the cool air around that heatsink a little bit better. There's the underside view of that heatsink. Very nice. Love those heat pipes at the end. Looks very cool. Seems pretty fingerprint resistant as well, which is nice to see. And there's a little switch that I said about. So we've got performance mode or quiet mode. I should be probably leaving this on performance for the majority of the videos. Of course, we've got a PCIe 16 lane. And let's have a look at the rear ports. So we've got a HDMI ×2, and then we've got 3 display ports and a nice vinyl peel. So as I said, you can support up to 4 displays on this at one time. So talking of power, the recommendation for a 3080 is 850 watts. So something quality like a Corsair power supply. I'm going to use 1000 watt pretty much for all the builds I'm going to do with this, just for a little bit of headroom. And when you're using it with a 12900K, it's got a high TDP. So 1000 watt, you know, a bit of headroom will always be nice. So I think as we've had a look around the card, the best thing we can do now is put it into a system and do some benchmarks. So I'm actually going to use the system that I built on the channel previously, the 12900K build, and that was actually a chip that was provided by Scan as well. So also a kind of double promotion there. But yeah, let's get this into that rig and see how it performs. So this is our test system for this graphics card. We've got a 12900K on a Z690 Hero from ASUS, the obviously TUF 3080. We've got a Gen 4 SSD, which is the FireCuda 530 from Seagate. There's also a Fantex 1000 watt power supply, and the cooler is the Corsair H170i Elite LCD. That's also got the standard thermal paste on as well, so we're not using any Noctua or anything like that. But I've done our usual benchmark suite. So we first went with Far Cry. We've got an average of 99 frames. This is on the high setting. Personally, I think 100 frames a second is more than adequate. You can really pump the textures and get the maximum quality out of the game. After that, with Shadow at the Tube Raider, we've got a height of 138. Could bring the settings down a little bit and go for 144 Hz display. So there's a little idea for you there. We also did Crisis. I didn't go for the Can It Run Crisis mode. It's not quite as powerful enough for that, but we did use the Ultra preset and got about 140 frames as an average, so still very good. Dirt 5 high settings, 150 frames average. Valorant is so easy to run, 440 as an average. Apex Legends was the last game, basically stuck around 140 consistently. There wasn't hardly any deviation, maybe 3 or 4 frames. The high temperature for the graphics card was 64.2, and then the hotspot on the card was a high of 75.4, so relatively cool as well. And as a quick side note, if you were to run your CPU cooler in the roof, you'd get even lower temperatures still. Mine's in the front purely because this is a 420mm radiator, and this is the only case that I've got that can support it, and it has to be in the front. It doesn't take it in the roof, unfortunately. So a 240, 360, if you can get it in the roof, then you'll get the fresh air from the front of the case straight into the graphics card, so it'll be even cooler still. But just to the way this case is designed and the radiator I'm using, I have to put it in the front. So just a couple of more thoughts before we end out the video. Ever so thankful for Scan for their continued support on the channel. It really does mean the world to me. It just makes life so much easier being able to get products through them that I otherwise wouldn't be able to, just because of my channel size. Obviously I'm going to do as much as I can with this card as well to give them a good return, because it is an expensive item, and I also want to, you know, do them proud with the content as well and get them some decent views on the stuff and hopefully convert that into traffic. So other things I wanted to say, I'm also going to use this for length tests in like RTX cases, because it's quite a long card. Not quite as long as I don't think it's the Strix cards, but you know, it will give people a good idea of what kind of card they can fit in their cases. I'll also use it for comparisons against the 4000 series cards if we're able to look at any. So that's another benchmarking thing we'll use it for. And then finally, any AM5 builds, I can use this with that may crop up. I have got word that I will be getting some AM5 boards, so I'm very excited about that. So stay tuned for those. I don't know anything about dates or anything yet, so I've just been told though that I will be supported, so really excited for that. So I think for now that is the little wrap up of the ASUS RTX TUF Edition 3080. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, a big thank you to Scan for being absolute legends and helping me with this hardware, giving the people better content and opening up possibilities for me that otherwise I couldn't do. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you did. I will leave links for the products in the video down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.